Hey gentlemen, welcome back. Look at the man on the screen, folks. This happened 16 minutes ago. This is Travis Hunter at day one of the Jacksonville Jaguars OTA. We are going to be covering this. We just made a Jaguars video the other day. We're going to go through a bunch of different clips, whether it's BTJ, Travis Hunter, Trevor Lawrence, OTAs, man. I am so excited. Football is officially here. Like I said, I know you guys had rookie minicamp a couple of weeks ago, but obviously it's in the name, just rookies at that. So we did get a couple of tastes. Sounds a little bit weird now that I said it, but we did get some glimpses of Travis Hunter, and we're getting some more here, running a beautiful route. People were really critiquing Travis Hunter from rookie minicamp, saying, he was catching the balls with his body. That's a huge issue. People were saying that some people were saying he was botching some of these catches so that they would put him on defense. So we're going to look at all of this, but let's get to Trevor Lawrence, all right? So I sit back here on the microphone every single season, and I say I think Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback. I really do. And here he is, obviously at OTAs, working on some drills, working on some footwork, and I really think Trevor Lawrence is a super solid quarterback. And I know last season, to be honest with you, man, I think last season you just use as a wash, and you give everybody a blank slate here, and that's including Trevor Lawrence, that's including Travis Etienne, that's including all these guys who might have had down statistical seasons last year, or they just didn't live up to expectations. I think all of these guys deserve at least one more season, because folks, at the end of the day, man, when you go 4-13, obviously Trevor Lawrence got injured, but even when he wasn't injured, only 11 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, threw for a little over 2,000 yards, but then Mac and Cheese, Cheddar Jones steps in for the second half of the season. But there's a lot to be excited about. Me personally, like I said, Trevor Lawrence is 25, and he's going to be 25 when the season starts. I'm 25. I'm a little bit older than Trevor Lawrence, so I think you got to give this guy the benefit of the doubt. I go back to your playoff run a few seasons ago. I know that Trevor Lawrence is still there. So let's look into some wide receivers, because this wide receiver room now is interesting, with BTJ just in general having a phenomenal rookie season. Now obviously bringing in wide receiver number 2 in Travis Hunter, and they also got Dyami Brown, who was huge in specific moments, huge big-time player last year when needed, when his number was called for the Washington Commanders last year. So let's get to it. I absolutely love this. This is a deep shot from Trevor Lawrence. I don't care that there's nobody going, there's no defenders. I don't care that there's nobody rushing him, or that nobody's even guarding Dyami Brown here, but truly, this wide receiver room next year I feel much better, much more comfortable about. I know Trevor Lawrence, last 2 seasons ago, his last fully healthy season, just threw for a little over 4,000 yards, 21 touchdowns, still had 14 interceptions, but Dyami Brown's going to really help, and obviously, the most important guy here, Travis Hunter and BTJ. We'll get to a clip of these guys in just 1 second. Actually, let's get to it now. Eggs fans, this is why you should be excited right here. This is Trevor Lawrence to Travis Hunter. You're going to see this hopefully at least 50 times this upcoming season. They're working on their time, and they're working on their chemistry, building the rapport with each other. And I know Travis Hunter and Trevor Lawrence are going to make each other's jobs much easier. But I go back, man, to the 2022 season I mentioned a couple of clips ago. That was the year. Obviously, we won't even talk about the playoffs, but Trevor Lawrence, 66.3% completion percentage, threw for over 4,100 yards. He had 25 total passing touchdowns. He only had 8 interceptions. This was only a few seasons ago, so a healthy Trevor Lawrence now, paired up with new threat Travis Hunter. BTJ coming off an unbelievable season, 87 catches for 1,282 yards. I don't really know what it is. I don't know if it was Puka from 2 seasons ago. I don't know if it's the Jaguars. Honestly, it's probably the Jaguars just being the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I don't mean disrespect there. I mean the NFL disrespects you. It probably was a combination of the Jacksonville market being 4-13 last season for why NFL fans are excited about BTJ. Obviously, Jacksonville Jaguar fans are unbelievably excited about BTJ. But for some reason, like I said, probably because you went 4-13, unless you're a hardcore NFL fan or a fantasy football guy, BTJ is not really on your radar in the grand scheme of things. But in reality, even though he just was a rookie, he's looking like he's about to be clearly a top 10 wide receiver this upcoming season. But I know we're talking Travis Hunter's on the screen, so let's get to BTJ. All right, here we go. On your left, Brian Thomas Jr. here, we got Travis Hunter wearing number 12 and Diami Brown at number 5. Now, I just want to use, that's literally the clip here from Justin Lewis. Obviously, like we keep mentioning, Trevor Lawrence's injury can't be understated enough. But what's also important to note that we always mention in Jacksonville videos right now is Liam Coen, obviously your young GMs just making some big-time balls, flyer moves. I absolutely love it. But Liam Coen himself should fix this offense just right out of the get-go, right? That's what he did with Baker Mayfield last season. So we'll talk about Trevor Lawrence in just 1 second, but for a team, I know Mac Chetta was, second half of this season, 18.8 points per game. That was 26th in the league. That can't happen. They were 24th in passing yards, only 204 passing yards per game. That can't happen. They were turning the ball over way too much. They were 7th in total offensive turnovers, 26th in rushing, 25th in touchdowns, 18th in yards per play. These 3 players are going to change that this upcoming season. But let's end this video here talking about the two guys, Liam Coen and Trevor Lawrence. A quick rant to end this video. Going back to the Trevor Lawrence clip here. If you guys don't know, I live in Tampa, all right? So I've actually covered the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for a couple of seasons now. Now, I'm actually a Green Bay Packers fan, born and raised in Chicago. That's a whole nother story. But I've been keeping an eye. I love talking football, obviously, and I made a whole Tampa Bay Buccaneers channel. And so I've been covering this team for numerous years now. And their head coach, or not their head coach, their former offensive coordinator, Dave Canales, he goes 2 years ago to be the the head coach for the Carolina Panthers. And so Bucs fans were kind of freaking out. NFL people were critiquing Baker, saying he was a product of Dave Canales' offense. Baker is not going to have another good season. Liam Coen, maybe can help, but it's not going to be what Dave Canales did. So Liam Coen comes into town, and Tampa has a top 5 offense. And Baker Mayfield has by far the best season of his career. By far, Baker Mayfield just had the best year of his career. And that's with Liam Coen as the offensive coordinator. So what I'm thinking, what I saw from Baker Mayfield going from Dave Canales OC to Liam Coen OC is pretty much what I'm expecting from Trevor Lawrence. I'm expecting I'm expecting a 2022 type of season from Trevor here. For some reason, my voice is so unbelievably hoarse right now. Excuse me, geez, there we go. But basically, I think Liam Coen is just going to get Trevor Lawrence on a Baker Mayfield trajectory from what we saw last year. So that's, we can talk about BTJ. We can talk about your running back room. We can talk about Travis Hunter, obviously, Diami Brown, et cetera, et cetera. But the biggest addition to me is Liam Coen being the head coach and the offensive guy for this guy on the screen, Mr. Trevor Lawrence. So, folks, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit that like button. Hit that sub button for daily NFL content. We're going to be covering and have been covering Jacksonville all off season. So stay tuned for tomorrow, day 2 of OTAs. But hit that like button. Hit that sub button. Let me know your thoughts, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.